Imagine it's the year 1999. The internet is exploding. Every newspaper is talking about technology stocks. Taxi drivers are giving investment advice. University students are quitting class to become day traders. Financial television tells you a new era has begun, and anyone who isn't buying internet stocks is being left behind. So you do exactly what millions of others do. You invest your savings into the hottest companies of the moment. For a while, everything feels brilliant. Every week your portfolio grows, friends congratulate you, newspapers celebrate a new generation of investors. It seems impossible to lose. Then, almost overnight, everything changes. The bubble bursts, companies disappear, fortunes evaporate. Between 2000 and 2002, the Nasdaq loses nearly 80% of its value. Millions of investors who believed they had discovered the future are left asking the same question: what happened? Fast forward a few years. This time, it's housing, then cryptocurrency, then meme stocks, then artificial intelligence. Every generation discovers a new shortcut to wealth. Every generation believes it has found the investment that changes everything. And every generation eventually discovers the same uncomfortable truth. Making money is easy during a boom. Building lasting wealth is something entirely different. Psychologists have a name for this behavior. It's called fear of missing out, or FOMO. We are wired to notice extraordinary success stories far more than ordinary ones. When someone turns $10,000 into $1 million through a lucky investment, that story spreads across social media. But when millions of people quietly build wealth over 30 years through disciplined investing, nobody writes headlines about it. The media isn't entirely to blame. Dramatic stories attract attention because our brains evolved to notice unusual events. A man who doubles his money overnight is fascinating. A teacher who consistently invests every month for 40 years is not. One makes headlines. The other quietly retires a millionaire. Warren Buffett once observed that the stock market is a device for transferring money from the impatient to the patient. That single sentence may explain more about investing than thousands of hours of financial television ever could, because the greatest obstacle to building wealth isn't usually a lack of intelligence, it's a lack of patience. Here's something most people never realize. The greatest investment strategy in modern history doesn't require predicting which company will dominate artificial intelligence. It doesn't require watching stock prices every day. It doesn't require reading hundreds of financial statements. In fact, it's so simple that many people dismiss it as boring. Yet this supposedly boring strategy has quietly created more millionaires than almost any financial innovation of the past century. It has survived world wars, oil crises, financial crashes, recessions, pandemics, inflation, and technological revolutions. While investors chased the next big thing, it simply kept doing the same job year after year, buying the world's greatest businesses and allowing time to do the heavy lifting. The irony is almost poetic. We spend our lives searching for extraordinary investments when history suggests that extraordinary wealth has often been created through remarkably ordinary decisions, repeated consistently for decades. So what is this wealth machine that quietly outperformed countless experts, survived every major financial crisis of the modern era, and became the investment Warren Buffett himself recommends for most people? To answer that, we first need to understand what the S&P 500 actually is, and why it may be one of the greatest financial inventions ever created. If someone asked you to invest in the American economy, where would you begin? Apple, Microsoft, Amazon, Nvidia, Coca-Cola? Perhaps you'd spend months researching balance sheets, listening to earnings calls, and trying to predict which companies will dominate the next decade. But what if you didn't have to choose at all? The S&P 500 was created to solve exactly that problem. Instead of asking investors to predict tomorrow's winners, it simply owns today's largest and strongest publicly traded companies in the United States. Think of it less as buying a stock and more as buying a constantly evolving slice of the American economy. Today, the index contains approximately 500 of America's largest publicly listed companies, spanning industries from technology and healthcare to banking, manufacturing, consumer goods, energy, and communications. Together, these businesses generate trillions of dollars in annual revenue and employ millions of people around the world. But here's the detail that changes everything. The S&P 500 isn't frozen in time, it's constantly evolving. Companies don't earn a permanent place in the index. They have to continue meeting strict standards for size, profitability, liquidity, and market relevance. When a business declines, it can be removed. When another rises to prominence, it takes its place. In many ways, the S&P 500 behaves like nature itself. Stronger businesses survive, weaker businesses disappear. The index quietly adapts to changes in technology, consumer behavior, and the global economy without requiring individual investors to predict the future. Consider this. 50 years ago, some of today's largest companies didn't even exist. Apple was a garage startup. Amazon hadn't sold its first book. Google hadn't been founded. Nvidia was decades away from becoming one of the world's most valuable companies. Yet today, they sit among the largest components of the index, not because someone predicted them decades in advance, but because the index naturally evolved as they grew. At the same time, many companies that once dominated American business quietly disappeared from the spotlight. Some merged with competitors, others went bankrupt, some simply failed to innovate. Investors who tried to pick individual winners often owned yesterday's champions. Investors who owned the index automatically moved with tomorrow's leaders. This is one of the most misunderstood ideas in investing. People often believe buying an index fund means settling for average. In reality, the index is constantly replacing average companies with exceptional ones. It's not standing still, it's adapting. And because the index is weighted by market value, larger and more successful companies naturally carry greater influence. When businesses like Apple or Microsoft create enormous value, they gradually become larger portions of the index. Investors benefit automatically without buying additional shares or making complicated decisions. Imagine trying to build this portfolio yourself. Every quarter, you would need to analyze hundreds of companies, decide which should stay, which should leave, and constantly rebalance your investments. The S&P 500 quietly performs that maintenance for millions of investors around the world. That's why many investors eventually stop asking, which company will be the next Apple? They begin asking a much more powerful question. How do I own the companies that haven't become Apple yet? The S&P 500 doesn't promise to identify tomorrow's winner. It simply ensures that if a company becomes one of America's greatest businesses, it will eventually earn its place in your portfolio. But owning great companies is only half the story, because even the greatest businesses need something that no investor can buy, predict, or manufacture: time. And as it turns out, time may be the most valuable asset in your entire portfolio. Imagine two people beginning their investment journey. Sarah is 25 years old. David is 45. Neither works on Wall Street. Neither studies financial statements. Neither tries to predict the next great company. Every month, both quietly invest the same amount into a low-cost S&P 500 index fund. The only meaningful difference between them is that Sarah begins 20 years earlier. Fast forward to retirement. Both investors made smart decisions. Both invested consistently. Both avoided chasing market trends. Yet Sarah retires with dramatically more wealth than David. Not because she invested more money each month, but because she gave her investment something money cannot buy: time. This is the quiet force that has built more fortunes than almost any financial strategy in history. It's called compound growth. At first, it appears almost disappointing. During the early years, progress feels painfully slow. The portfolio grows, but only by small amounts. Many investors become impatient during this stage because they expect dramatic results far too quickly. But compound growth doesn't behave like a straight line. It behaves like a snowball rolling downhill. Every year, your investments generate returns. Those returns begin generating returns of their own. Over time, growth starts building upon previous growth until eventually the gains from earlier years become larger than your annual contributions. Think about a single oak tree. During its first few years, most of its growth happens underground. Its roots spread quietly, almost invisibly. To someone walking past, it appears as though very little is happening. But those hidden years determine how tall the tree will eventually become. Investing works much the same way. The early years often feel insignificant, yet they are laying the foundation for everything that follows. This is why so many people misunderstand long-term investing. They compare themselves to someone who made extraordinary returns in a single year. What they don't see are the millions of ordinary investors quietly allowing decades of compound growth to work in the background. Financial news celebrates sudden success because it's exciting. Compound growth is almost invisible until enough time has passed. Warren Buffett is often celebrated as one of the greatest investors in history, but here's a fact that surprises many people. The overwhelming majority of his wealth wasn't created because he consistently earned impossible returns. It was created because he invested for an extraordinarily long time. His greatest competitive advantage wasn't just intelligence, it was time. That's a lesson many investors overlook. We often ask, how much return can I earn this year? A far better question is, how long can I stay invested? Because once compounding has enough time, it begins doing work that would otherwise seem impossible. There's another reason this strategy feels almost too simple. Our brains evolved to seek immediate rewards. Waiting 30 years for wealth feels emotionally uncomfortable, especially when social media constantly shows people claiming to have doubled their money overnight. We mistake excitement for effectiveness, yet history repeatedly suggests that the quieter strategy often wins. Consider this. If someone offered you the choice between receiving $1 million today or planting a seed that would grow into a forest over 40 years, most people would choose the money. Markets reward the opposite behavior. They reward patience, they reward consistency, they reward investors willing to delay gratification while everyone else searches for shortcuts. And perhaps that's the greatest misconception about investing. We think wealth is built by finding extraordinary opportunities. More often than not, it's built by making ordinary decisions consistently and then resisting the temptation to interrupt them. But if the mathematics of investing are this straightforward, why do so many people still fail to build wealth in the stock market? The answer has almost nothing to do with finance and everything to do with psychology. If building wealth through the S&P 500 is so straightforward, why doesn't everyone succeed? After all, the strategy isn't hidden. Warren Buffett has recommended low-cost index funds for years. Financial textbooks teach diversification. The data is public. The barriers to investing have never been lower. Yet millions of investors continue to underperform the very market they're trying to beat. The reason isn't intelligence, it isn't education, and for most people, it isn't even income. The biggest obstacle to long-term wealth sits much closer to home. It's human psychology. Imagine buying an investment that falls by 35% in just a few weeks. Headlines declare the worst financial crisis in decades. Television experts predict even bigger losses. Friends begin selling. Social media insists the market will never recover. Suddenly, doing nothing feels impossible. This isn't a hypothetical scenario. Investors experienced exactly this during the global financial crisis in 2008, again during the COVID-19 market crash in 2020, and many times before that. Every major decline feels different while it's happening. Every crash convinces people that this time is unique. Yet history tells a remarkably consistent story. Markets fall, fear spreads, investors sell, eventually markets recover. The irony is painful. The very moments that feel safest to invest are often the most expensive. Prices have already risen, optimism is everywhere, and everyone wants to buy. The moments that offer the greatest long-term opportunities are usually the ones that feel the most uncomfortable. This behavior has a name. Behavioral economists call it loss aversion. Research suggests that people experience the pain of losing money far more intensely than the satisfaction of gaining the same amount. Losing $1,000 hurts far more than gaining $1,000 feels good. As a result, many investors abandon perfectly good strategies simply to escape temporary discomfort. Then there's overconfidence. During bull markets, many investors begin believing they possess exceptional stock-picking abilities. Rising markets create the illusion of skill, but when conditions change, that confidence often disappears just as quickly. Professional investors aren't immune either. Every year, hundreds of highly paid fund managers attempt to outperform the S&P 500 by carefully selecting individual stocks. They employ teams of analysts, economists, mathematicians, and sophisticated technology. Yet year after year, the majority fail to beat the index over the long term after fees. That's one of the most remarkable statistics in investing. The average individual investor struggles to beat the market. The average professional fund manager struggles to beat the market. Even with enormous resources, predicting the future consistently proves extraordinarily difficult, which raises an uncomfortable possibility. Perhaps successful investing has less to do with making brilliant decisions and more to do with avoiding bad ones. Not constantly trading, not chasing trends, not trying to predict every market movement. Sometimes the hardest part of investing is resisting the urge to interfere. This is why experienced investors often say that investing is simple, but not easy. The mathematics are relatively straightforward. The emotions are not. Markets constantly tempt us to abandon long-term thinking in exchange for short-term certainty. And certainty has always been expensive. So if beating the market isn't about predicting the future, timing crashes, or picking tomorrow's winners, what is the real secret? The answer may be simpler than almost anyone expects. So what does all of this actually mean for you? After everything we've discussed, market crashes, compounding, psychology, and the S&P 500, you may still be wondering whether building wealth is really as simple as it sounds. The honest answer is both yes and no. The strategy is remarkably simple. Following it consistently is extraordinarily difficult. For most people, investing isn't about finding the next Nvidia before everyone else. It isn't about predicting recessions. It isn't about watching financial news every morning or checking stock prices every hour. The greatest advantage ordinary investors possess is something much less exciting. They have time. Imagine two neighbors. One spends every evening searching for the next stock that might double in value. The other spends 5 minutes each month investing consistently before returning to family, work, and life. 20 or 30 years later, history suggests the second neighbor has a surprisingly good chance of coming out ahead, not because they knew more, but because they interfered less. That's because investing isn't really a competition against other people. It's a competition against your own emotions. Every market crash will tempt you to sell. Every booming market will tempt you to chase the latest trend. Every financial headline will convince you that this time is different. The greatest investors aren't the ones who never feel fear. They're the ones who refuse to let fear make their decisions. There's another lesson hidden inside the S&P 500 that extends far beyond investing. The index succeeds because it constantly adapts. New companies replace declining ones. New technologies replace outdated industries. Innovation quietly replaces stagnation. In many ways, it mirrors life itself. Long-term success rarely comes from standing still. It comes from adapting while remaining committed to a clear direction. This is why the S&P 500 has survived oil shocks, recessions, wars, inflation, financial crises, pandemics, and technological revolutions. It doesn't predict the future. It simply allows the future to reveal itself. As new companies become more valuable, the index gradually gives them greater weight. Investors quietly participate in that evolution without needing to know who tomorrow's winner will be. And perhaps that's the most profound lesson of all. We often believe wealth belongs to people with extraordinary intelligence, extraordinary luck, or extraordinary timing. History paints a different picture. More often than not, lasting wealth belongs to those who develop ordinary habits and repeat them with extraordinary consistency. None of this guarantees success. Markets will always involve risk. There will be years when portfolios fall, there will be recessions, there will be uncertainty. Investing in the stock market requires patience, discipline, and the willingness to accept short-term volatility in pursuit of long-term growth. Understanding those risks is just as important as understanding the opportunities. But perhaps that's why this strategy has endured for generations. It doesn't promise excitement. It doesn't promise overnight riches. It doesn't promise certainty. Instead, it offers something much more valuable, a rational way for ordinary people to participate in the long-term growth of some of the world's most successful businesses. We live in a world obsessed with finding shortcuts, faster profits, bigger returns, the next breakthrough investment. Yet the greatest wealth machine ever built was never hidden. It has existed in plain sight for decades, quietly rewarding patience while the rest of the world searched for something more exciting. Because in the end, wealth isn't created by predicting the future. It's created by owning a small piece of it and giving it enough time to grow. The headlines will always tell you where the market has been, but history rewards those who understand where progress is going. This is macro context. Thanks for watching this far. Please remember to subscribe and hit the bell icon. I will see you in the next one.